Beloved in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, beloved in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, this is a very urgent message, a very urgent message called a response to Mark Finleys' sermon, Now here recently, beloved in the Adventist Church, Mark Finley put out a sermon rebuffing David Gates' sermon, saying that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has not changed our doctrine, our fundamental belief in the spirit of prophecy, and that we simply strengthened the language, but took out a few words. But in the 2010 statement, the gift of prophecy was not referred to as the spirit of prophecy. Ellen White was not referred to as the Lord's messenger. And it dealt more so with the continuing use of the spirit of prophecy and calling it authoritative, but not describing it as the voice of God or defining faith and practice, beloved in the Adventist Church. So that was the big change. And so look here what Testimonies of Church Volume 5, page 217 says about this. The church has turned back from following Christ, her leader, and steadily retreating toward Egypt. Yet few are alarmed or astonished at the one of spiritual power. Doubt and even disbelief of the testimony of the Spirit of God is leavening the churches everywhere. Saying would have it thus: ministers who preach self instead of Christ have it thus. The testimonies are unread and unappreciated. God has spoken to you. Light has been shining from the word and from the testimonies, and both have been slighted and disregarded. The result is apparent in the lack of purity and devotion and earnest faith among us, beloved. Let each put the question in his own heart. How have we fallen from the state of spiritual feebleness and dissension? Have we not brought upon ourselves the frown of God because our actions do not correspond with our faith? Have we not been seeking the friendship and applause of the world rather than the presence of Christ and deeper knowledge of His will? Examine your own hearts. Judge your own course. Consider what associates you are choosing. Do not seek the company of the wise, do not seek the company of the wise, or are you willing to choose worldly associates, companies who fear not God and obey not the gospel? So, beloved in the Adventist Church, when churches are retreating back to spiritual Egypt, we see what we're doing. Like Amazing Work Ministries brought out in the Pastor Garcia about the fact that our church in North America Division invited an ecumenicist lady, a Caucasian ecumenicist lady, to speak to the Seventh-day Adventist ministers about how to make Christ's word less doctrinal or less religious. Just preach Jesus, she was saying. And so they're throwing out Ellen White and bringing in ecumenical preachers that are ladies to teach Seventh-day Adventist ministers how to make our doctrines less doctrinal and more Jesus-oriented in the ecumenical framework. Beloved in the Adventist Church, it's apostasy. Mark Finley is wrong when he says we have not changed the spirit of prophecy. We have changed the spirit of prophecy doctrine. We are saying that we don't need Sister White's writings. We are saying just the Bible, no Sister White's writings. Saying if we would have read our Bibles, we not need Sister White's writings. We are demoting Sister White by saying that we don't need Ellen White. Now, beloved in the Adventist Church, throughout all the apostasies in the apostate Catholic system during the Dark Ages, infant baptism, once saved, never lost theology, no victory over sin, legalism, saying you're saved by doing rosary beads, and the Christmas tree, Halloween, Easter, all these pagan Christian holidays, Valentine's Day came into the papacy, the apostate Protestant world with the pre-fall nature of Christ, all this heresy that came into the apostate Protestant world and the papacy, the Sister White exposes in her writings. And so we need Sister White's writings to expose these heresies. Even the pioneers in the Adventist Church, after they studied these things out for themselves, they went to get the spirit of prophecy, to get the Sister White's writing, or the spirit of prophecy, to confirm their teachings. So Sister White confirmed the already established teachings of the Bible that the pioneers agreed on, beloved, before it became doctrine within the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So we need Sister White's writings. It's a big misunderstood statement when Mark Finleys says, if we had studied our Bible, we would not need Sister White's writings. What he's saying is, throw away Sister White's writings, just give us the Bible. And Sister White says that we need her gift because her gift is a continuing source. He says that we would give up her writings. He said the church one day give up the spirit prophecy, and it will no longer be a continuing use of doctrine to us as Seventh-day Adventists, beloved in the Adventist church. Sister White's writings can define my faith and practice. I don't know about yours. I don't know if it can define your faith and practice, but it can define my faith and practice, beloved in the Adventist church. And right now, for many Seventh-day Adventist leaders right now over the world, and many church members, Sister White's writings cannot define their faith and practice. It simply can enrich their experience. And if it can only enrich your experience and not define faith and practice, maybe you're going to be the ones that are shaken out for these last days. This is why it says in Christian service, I saw not 1 in 20 on the church books able to close life history. Right now, it can be within 5 to 500 and they're able to close life history. So that means that most of the church is going to be shaken out for these last days. This says whole conferences shall be lost, beloved, in the Adventist church. Whole conferences shall be lost. And not 1 in 20 on the church books can retain the life history with God as I says, beloved in the Adventist church. So Mark Finleys was wrong when he demoted the spirit of prophecy, when he went against the judgment of the living for the Seventh-day Adventist church that David Gates put out in his sermon, when he spoke out against the fact that March, April of next year could be the close of human basis for the Adventist church, based on the fact of the sabbatical years of 6,000 years ending, and based on the fact that the Pope came to America September 23rd, 2015, which was the judgment of, which was the Day of Atonement for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in 1844, back in 1844, October 22. And when he says that it's not going to be an overtake, beloved, I believe David Gates' message. I believe David Brandon's message, beloved. Do not go against these sincere men of God. Do not listen to Mark Finley. Do not listen to David House. Do not listen to Lawrence Smith. Do not listen to these pastors in the Adventist church like Lawrence McDonald and Stanley Dixon who are preaching against these truths in these last days. Listen to David Gates. Listen to David Brown against the Bible and the prophecy, and believe the truth for these last days. Maranatha. God bless, beloved.